It's a Democratic strategist and USA Today contributor. He was previously a spokesperson for the Republican-led House Oversight Committee. Good to see you, my friend. So we've seen a kind of notable shift. I mean, it's powerful, right? The president going harder against the Republican Party in this last week. What's behind it? What's the strategy?
Well, I think, Alex, that the presidency of Joe Biden is really a three-act play. The first act was getting us through the pandemic, something that we have never experienced before, getting shots in arms, getting the vaccines out and distributed, and he did that. Act two was getting stuff done, passing a juggernaut of historically significant legislative accomplishments, from infrastructure to climate change to Inflation Reduction Act to the CHIPS bill. He got those things done. Now we're in the third chapter, which is leading us into the election, this fight for the soul of our country, the fight for the soul of democracy. We are watching right now a very radical and extreme Republican Party mirror what we have seen in other places like Nazi Germany, like other places like the Bolsheviks. We have seen this playbook before. We have seen a ruling party try to use things like propaganda, try to silence the free press, try to restrict what women can do. We have seen this playbook before, and it always ends disastrously for the majority of people that are subjected to that. That's what the warning signs are that we're seeing from the president right now. He is ringing the bell that we need to check in, pay attention, because this is a very dangerous line that the Republican Party is under full embrace of autocratic ways and means is nothing but disastrous, and we have to stop it.
All right, so that's what we're going to tune in for tomorrow night. But let me ask you about this speech yesterday when he focused specifically on law and order. Of course, that is something Republicans like to claim as an issue that they own. To whom is Joe Biden appealing here?
Well, I think he's appealing to everyday Americans who do believe in the rule of law, who do respect law enforcement. And he's right. You cannot be pro-cop and pro-coup at the same time. We have seen the very riveting and unbelievable footage through the January 6th Select Committee of what it was like from law enforcement's vantage point that day. We are seeing in real time threats being launched against the FBI, against law enforcement by Trump's acolytes. That's very dangerous for all the people who sat for the last 2 years listening to the Republican Party warn about defunding police, warn about extremism from the so-called left Antifa. Well, here we have those very Republicans turning their back on law enforcement, putting a bullseye on their backs, putting them at risk and at harm. And that's what President Biden is pointing out.
Yeah, I think the word hypocrisy fully applies here. Let's talk about another big issue as we head towards the midterms, abortion rights. And let's take a listen to part of what the president said last week after Democrats won that bellwether election here, District 19, or Congressional District 19 here in New York.
You saw what happened with Pat Ryan up in New York, picking up that district. I think the American people realize this is just beyond the pale. It goes too far. In the meantime, I signed 2 executive orders to protect access to reproductive health care.
Well, and in fact, Kurt, several Republicans have now shifted their tones on abortion in recent days, most notably of Arizona Senate candidate Blake Masters, who has completely scrubbed his website of any pro-life messaging. How has the ground shifted overall? What do you think it means for Democrats? Does it open an opportunity for them to go through?
Well, we've seen now, time after time, Democrat turnout go up. We've seen Republicans not really know how to even talk about this. The void that was left by some of these Republicans' silence and their effort to hide from it has been filled by the most extreme in their party, saying things like they believe that a raped child should have to be, forced to carry through with that pregnancy and that term. And that's just so far outside of the mainstream of where Americans are. Remember, women in Nazi Germany had little role in political and professional life. Their role was to marry, procreate, and advance their superior race. The ideal woman in Nazi Germany did not have a career outside her home. The reversal of reproductive rights, women's rights in America, is bringing us toward that. Under Mussolini's rule, procreation was dictated as a duty of women. That's where these extreme moderate Republicans want to bring women in the 21st century. That's what they're trying to do. And they can try to run and hide from that. Blake Masters can scrub things from his website. Republicans who try not to talk about it, it's too late for that.